Welcome back to New World Next Week. I'm James Corbett of CorbettReport.com.
And I'm James Evan Pilato of MediaMonarchy.com. Mainstream media admits it gets fed info by U.S. Intel, plus what Americans fear most. But first, the obituary for the embattled Great Barrier Reef slammed for hyperbole. While the Great Barrier Reef, the largest living structure on the planet, might be in a dire state, it's not dead yet. However, a recent obituary for the reef went viral, indicating the public appeal of global warming-inspired doom porn. On October 11th, Outside Magazine's website published Obituary, Great Barrier Reef, 25 million BC to 2016, in which the author detailed the Great Barrier Reef's attributes as well as the damage done by warming, more acidic ocean water to the complex 133,000 square mile system off of Australia's coast. So now, James, when I start to see information like this come out, the first thing I will do is go look at the organization. What is it? Who runs it? Outside Magazine, which will include the links in the show notes, was founded actually by Rolling Stone's Jan Wenner, who, by the way, just sold 49% of Rolling Stone to a rich kid in Singapore. He was the first editor-in-chief of Outside Magazine. William Randolph Hearst III was its first managing editor, and Jack Ford, an assistant to founding publisher Donald Welch, was the son of former U.S. President and Warren Commission member Gerald Ford. So that's just a little insight into what Outside Magazine may be about. And another piece from sciencemag.org, some relief for the Great Barrier Reef, I guess to sort of push back against the obituary. The Australian government announced that substantial progress has been made toward protecting the Great Barrier Reef. Conservationists applauded improvements in the reef's health and resilience, but of course went on to caution that the government isn't doing enough. So, James, another situation where the reports of its death might be greatly exaggerated?
Absolutely so, and this is the way the global warming-inspired doom porn works. It's report every scrap of information that leans towards the negative and ignore every scrap of information that counters that narrative. And, I mean, a good example is the ozone hole layer. Every time, you know, there's, oh, the ozone hole layer the hole is growing, and then when it suddenly heals itself, people just, you know, it just gets swept under the rug. So this is another example of that phenomenon. I'll add even a little bit more grist to the mill. Even the Australian Institute of Marine Science, for example, earlier this year in June, had a report on the surveys of the Townsville sector of the Great Barrier Reef that included such highlights as 7 reefs in the Townsville had coral cover equal to or greater than that recorded since systematic manta tows began 31 years ago, and coral cover had increased on 11 of the 12 reefs surveyed using manta tows. But again, you're not going to find headlines about that because that doesn't sell newspapers or, you know, advertising on websites or anything. It's the doom porn that gets people's attention. Ah, I knew it. The world is dying. It's all going to hell. So who are the real people who are interested in actually preserving the reef? Clearly, it isn't the people who get their clicks generated by putting out the doom porn and accentuating anything that could possibly be twisted to the negative. It's the people who actually